A river bursting its banks, a lake flowing back to the land, a people trying to live their fisherfolk's lives, and the never-ending rainfall. That is the conflict that the Nyakach people have to deal with. Nyakach sub-county of Kisumu County has always experienced perennial flooding, especially in North, Central, and West Nyakach respectively. But this time round, Nyakach has experienced unprecedented floods, and the most affected is Sango area of West Nyakach. Sango area of West Nyakach is divided into two locations. One, Nyongonga sublocation, and Lower Kadianga sublocation. This is a lowland area bordering Lake Victoria as well as the mighty river Sondu Miriu that has also added to the problem by bursting its banks.
Chandruok mwayudo ka en chandruok mane pok waneno nyaka ne nyuolwa. Pigini pok wanene.
Sango is a flood-prone area with occasional flash floods, but this time round the problem was unprecedented. It is deadly and it is three-pronged. First, the lake tide had been rising with a backflow to the dry land. Secondly, there have been heavy rainfalls pouring for long hours and on daily basis. Thirdly, River Sondu Miriu that wades through Nyakach Hills and meanders through Sango as it pours its water into the lake came heavily swollen this time round. The river came with a lot of force, a lot of water, and all manner of debris, bursting its banks and sweeping anything it found on its way.
Pio donjo ka otieno sa achiel. Koro ka nodonjo sa achiel wapom na ka pio donjo yudi. Koro ka nodonjo yudi, koro oyudo ji kapo nindo nyithindo ji pono pedho mne lu. Koro ji ne ringo. Koro ne koko malich ma ji go uwi ka pi daro ji.
Ne pio dwa nego wagi nyithindo ma jamni to notho moko. Kaka an kama rumba notho 10 gi diek 7 nikech ne ok wang'eyo ni nonyalo biro matek kamano.
So many people are affected and have had to seek help at the nearby makeshift evacuation centers, most of which are schools, and some of them too are experiencing the floods.
To be specific, we only have about 10% land surface that is remaining. 90% is underwater. And that gives us around 80% of population have been actually displaced. And so far we have around 5 evacuation centers. That is Nyadina, which is Nyadina, Obange, and Nyakoda lies in Lower Kadianga sublocation, while Nyongonga, Sangoburu, and Nyawalo, which makes it as the 6th evacuation center, lies in Nyongonga sublocation. So these places were not adequate enough to accommodate the number that have actually been displaced this time round.
A visit to the evacuation centers shows how dire the situation is. The center itself is flooded. The evacuees have no otherwise but to use the same flood waters for their daily needs. No access to clean water. Even those who are still hanging on to their homes use the same water, which is probably contaminated as all the latrines in the area are either submerged or overflowing and has since mixed with the same flood water. Inside the evacuation centers, everyone is crammed in the same rooms with only your mattress or sleeping mat demarcating your space. There are no window panes, and to try to keep themselves from cold, they have blocked the windows with clothes and rags. Even the chicken are sharing the same space.
We are in a pandemic situation, and I don't know, because we have a challenge also in distancing, social distancing.
nitiere ja form 3 mane an go buge piyo yudhi nikech ne okwa par ni no nyalo biro matek kamano. Gimora mora ma nyathi mane ja primary nigo gigo dhi te.
Japuonj nomiyowa homework mang'eny mondo watim, koro ne ok watimo. Pi osechandowa mang'eny.
But there is also a bit of hope, as Jack Wilson Ominde takes his time to help young girls with their studies. But that is just that, as most of their items, including books, were washed away by the floods. As we assess the area, we spot Mzee Daniel Omoto Opole wading through the water, going to his already destroyed house. Not even the power lines are spared, and if not checked, this could be a catastrophe should the live power lines fall into the water.
We thank most sincerely mostly the national government that have actually intervened and gave us some foodstuffs, and the county government of Kisumu. They have done the much they could, but given the overwhelming number that have now been displaced, they cannot cope up with the situation now.
One of the agencies that have tried to help in this situation is a local CBO called Strategic Nyakach.
Strategic Nyakach does not get funding, specific funding from anybody, but we have managed to do our activities whereby individual members would send money to us to do a specific activity that they agreed on. And this has also been possible because of our collaborative approach. We are always open to engagement with all government and non-governmental agencies and all the development partners who are always willing to help us mitigate a problem whenever it arose.
At the Chief's Camp, the local CBO Strategic Nyakach, in partnership with the NGO called Sana, have brought food and non-food aid for distribution. A crowd is already forming in anticipation of aid distribution. It is something, though not really enough. The number of people affected is so high and the situation is overwhelming.
In West Nyakach now, we don't have any roads possible. And I know as you are coming, you must have come through the lake. You must have come through the lake. People are just being ferried across the lake in order for you to reach Lower Kadiangasab, which has been cut off at a Guru point.
A brief discussion with a few members of Strategic Nyakach CBO gives us hopeful insight about the situation.
To control the flow of water into Sango, it is important that resources are availed to construct check dams.
This is also echoed by the community.
Koro wane wakwayo ni mondo ukonywa gi permanent solution nikech kata gik mumiyowa thindo ok nyal romo wanwa gima nie puothewa. To koro shida en pigni monego barnwa mondo donje nam nikech nam ni mkodwa machiegni.
Permanent solution is the best solution so far. Kimiyowa gorogoro ariyo, kimiyowa mchele dis ariyo, ok nyal provide for the whole family. To ka permanent solution obedo brought up, we will really appreciate, because now we'll do our own things and we will depend on our own self. Otherwise, thank you very much for those who have been donating unto us. We are so much grateful.
The local community knows exactly what they need, but they are limited in terms of resources. Reconstruction and rebuilding of homes is going to be inevitable, but it is going to be such an arduous task for community members, most of whom live below $1 a day.
Going by what I heard over the radio, that we are likely to have another rain. I don't know what this place would be if it rains.
With the weatherman's announcement of more rains to come, one can't help but to have feelings of helplessness as the future looks bleak to the residents of Sango area who try to imagine what more rains would mean. Hope is diminishing so fast unless someone or some agency or some institution intervenes promptly.
So we would appeal the Strategic Nyakach Summit would appeal to all members of Strategic Nyakach and non-Strategic Nyakach members and all the individuals of goodwill who are able to collaborate with us so that we can get to help our people who are really suffering in Nyakach. If you go to Sango, all the roads have been submerged. The boats have become now the common form of transport, and almost 900 people have nowhere to call home. So we are awake to the fact that, look, the situation is overwhelming, but we cannot give up on our people, and we are asking for any form of help in kind or in monetary form that can be channeled towards helping our people.